Good afternoon, everybody. So, this is our topic lesson for this week. We're going to take a little bit of step away from our historical figures this week and look at bridges in general. So, we spent the last couple of weeks looking, or we spent last week looking at Isambard Kingdom Brunel and what he kind of things that he created, what he did, why he was such a pioneer. And one of the things that was so important for him that he did with his design work was indeed bridges. Before then, bridges only kind of came in one way. But after his work on the Clifton Suspension Bridge and a few other bridges, it meant that there was more designs, different designs for different bridges. So we're going to have a look at bridges this week, and then next week you're actually going to build one, and I will be sending out information to your parents so that you've got enough notice in order to get the materials together to actually make one. But for this week we're just going to look at the different types of bridges that there are. Okay, you will all have come across some of these bridges before. You might not realise what the type of bridge it was, but you will have all have seen at least one of these types of bridges, possibly even two. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're going to focus on. So, I want you to think about what bridges are used for now. Okay, so pause the video in a second and just talk with your grown-up or talk to yourself about why we actually have a bridge. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, so we're also going to think about what bridges. I now want you to have got another question for you. What bridges have you seen in real life? Where are they? Were they designed for people to walk over or something else? Okay, I won't get you to pause because I'm going to go through some other ones. Do you know the name and location of any famous bridges? And did you know that there was more than one type of bridge? So let's take a look at them. If you want to pause now and just have a little conversation with your grown-up about any of those questions, feel free to do so. So pause the video now. Okay, so you probably would have all have seen some bridges. You might even be able to recognise some of them. You probably think, yeah, I've seen that bridge before, but you just can't remember what it's called. Some of you might have been on, some of these famous bridges. Some of you maybe have models of these famous bridges. So we'll just have to see. Some of them might have come up in our landmarks work when we were talking about London and Europe and things last term. So let's see what we come up with. So the first type of bridge I want to look at is called an arch bridge. Okay, and it's called an arch bridge because, funnily enough, it's got arches in it. Okay, it's got so it's got arches in it. This one is made of stone. Okay, let's find out a bit more about them. So the arch bridge design is 3,000 years old. In the past, arch bridges were usually made of stone, brick, or wood. More modern arch bridges, which means bridges that are made today, are reinforced with steel or concrete. The supporting pillars that are at the end of arches are called abutments. So that's these bits here. They're the abutments. I can't even work out how to say that. Abutments? I'm not sure. But the arches, you can see that one is made of stone. Okay, but newer ones will have concrete at the bottom and have steel inside it, and then are covered with brick or wood or stone. So an arch bridge uses a curve shape to spread the weight of the bridge over the curve, rather than the weight bearing straight down. Any weight put on the bridge is carried outwards towards the supports that are built on the ground, and the arch is usually a semicircular place. So in other words, if it was flat here, then there would be a lot of weight on the middle bit. But because if you're standing in the middle of this bit here, it supports the weight a lot better. It supports it down here on these pillars, on the bits that go into the water. The design of the arch bridge and the materials are made with usually means they are very strong bridges, which is why even today we still use them. But you might find they're made out of steel or something stronger. So the Sydney Harbour Bridge, for example, is an arch bridge. Now that one is made mostly out of steel. Now you can actually, and my wife has done this, but you can actually climb up there all the way to the top. These bits here are made of stone. Between 2,500 and 4,000 people were involved in building the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The bridge was nicknamed the coat hanger due to its shape. Can you see why? So it does look a little bit like a coat hanger, doesn't it? You've got the Chao Tianman Bridge in China. Chao Tianman Bridge in China. Again, another arch bridge, but again, fairly new bridge, so it's made mostly of steel. The Chao Tianmen Bridge has 6 lanes of traffic going across it. There are also 2 lanes for people to use to walk across the bridge. So you think that's like going across, that's like a motorway on the bridge. I mean, that's huge. Look at these. These are boats. It's massive. This is the Rialto Bridge in Venice in Italy. Okay, it's the oldest bridge to cross over the Grand Canal, and it was built between 1588 and 1591. That one will be made completely of stone, apart from maybe the top bits now, but that would be a completely stone bridge. It's really popular with tourists. Then we have the suspension bridge. So a suspension bridge uses ropes, chains or cables to hold the bridge in place. Vertical cables are spaced out along the bridge to secure the deck area, the part that you walk or drive over. Okay? Suspension bridges can cover larger distances. Large pillars at either end of the waterways are connected with cables and secured usually to the ground. Okay? So if you need a really long bridge, a suspension bridge will be better than an arch bridge. And these bits here, the cables going across, it looks like you'd be able to move them, but you can't. They are very, very secure, and they actually hold the bridge up. This is the kind of bridge that we're going to have a go at making next week. You can see if you can make a suspension bridge. Due to the variety of materials and the complicated design, suspension bridges are very expensive to build. The structure of suspension bridges has changed throughout the years. Jacobs Creek Bridge in Pennsylvania was built in 1801, so that was about 220 years ago. It was the first suspension bridge to be built using iron chain suspensions. It was 21 metres long. If one single link chain is damaged, it weakens the whole chain. So if one of these breaks, it weakens the whole lot. For this reason, wire or cable is used to design in bridges today, which is obviously stronger. Even though engineer James Finley promised that the bridge would stay standing for 50 years, it was damaged in 1825 and had to be replaced in 1833. So it should have lasted for 50 years. It lasted about 25, about half that. So some different bridges. This one is one of the longest. This is the Akashi Kaiko Bridge in Japan. So can you see here, you've got these massive, great big long cables, and these chains are actually holding the bridge up. But it needs more. This one is so long, it's got one at the beginning, one of these pillars at the beginning, one in the middle, and then one at the end, which is off the photo. The world's longest suspension bridge is the Akashi Kaiko Bridge in Japan. It's 2.5 miles long. Okay, that's probably about, I don't know whether it's Mosterton to Bedminster. It might be Mosterton to Bedminster, that's how long it is. You probably would have seen this one before. It's really popular. It's turned up in cartoons, movies, lots of different things. This is the Golden Gate Bridge in the USA. Modern suspension bridges use thin pieces of steel twined together to make a strong cable. The Golden Gate Bridge uses 80,000 miles of cable in this bit and in these bits here. So again, this one just has the two pillars. The Brooklyn Bridge in America, in New York, goes between Manhattan and Brooklyn. This one's in Scotland. It's the Forth Road Bridge. It's made up of almost 40,000 tons of steel and 125,000 cubic meters of concrete. That's a lot. And 30,000 miles of steel wire. So the next type of bridge we're going to look at is called a cantilever bridge. The first cantilever bridge was built in 1867 by a German called Heinrich Gerber. He wanted to create a bridge long enough to cross large distances, such as the Main River in Germany. He was able to create a structure which had arms that met in the middle of the main river, allowing it to be crossed. So it was built in sections. So they built this bit, then they built this bit, then they built this bit, and then they kind of built in between. Compared to today's cantilever bridges, Gerber's was very basic and small, but this design allowed for more complex and large structures to be built. It was very innovative, which means it was very clever, almost pioneering, making Gerber a very famous name in the engineering of bridges. And this is him here. A cantilever bridge uses cantilevers to create an area for people or vehicles to travel on. A cantilever is something that sticks out to the side while being supported by something else. So it's this bit here in the middle is being supported by this pillar and this pillar all together. So if you look at the picture actually, can you see the man here? You've got this person, and you can see the shape is the same. The arms and the legs of this person, where he's holding on to, I think that is actually, I don't know whether it's a pole or a string or something. And then it's the same on the other side. And then we've got bricks to weigh these bits down. This guy in the middle, he's not actually touching the floor. So this guy in the middle, he is being kept up by the two people at the side and these weights. So this is for the Forth Bridge, which is the one in Scotland. This is a very old picture to show how it works. And here's some cantilever bridges. They're often used to cross areas of water. Sometimes these areas of water are too wide for the cantilever arms to cover. When this happens, an extra bridge can be added in between the two, and it's usually supporting beams and known as a truss bridge. So this is the Forth Bridge in Scotland. In 2016, it was voted Scotland's greatest man-made structure. The Quebec Bridge in Canada crosses over the St. Lawrence River. While being built, it collapsed twice, killing 88 people. And then the final one is a beam bridge. It's the simplest type of bridge that you may come across. Think of a plank of wood or something that might be used to cross a stream. This is a simple beam bridge. The beam is part of a bridge supported at either end, where the weight of the bridge pushes down. So, although it looks very much like an arch bridge, because it's got the bits coming down, it is in fact, there's no actual arches in there. It's just one bit across and it's being supported. So we call it a girder bridge as well, because these bits sticking out from the bits that go down to the bridge, they're called girders. A beam bridge is usually short, maximum of 250 feet, because the further apart the supports are, the weaker the bridge becomes. So we need it to be, if it's a longer bridge, it wouldn't work. Imagine a ruler positioned between two tables with an eraser at either end, so like a rubber. Putting a small amount of weight on the ruler will cause the bridge to collapse. By bringing the tables closer together, more weight can be put on them. So the shorter the bridge, the better it is. One beam bridge can be joined to others to create a stretch of beam bridges, like this one, for example, in Lake Pontchartrain in the USA. It's almost 24 miles long. It's nearly the same distance as Glasgow to Stirling. Here's another one. So here we've got the beams going down. Lots of different beams. This is a viaduct in Germany. So it's not actually a road up there, it's a canal, so that would have canal boats going across it. It's a steel beam bridge and it's over 3,000 feet long and sits 136 metres above the ground. Oh. Okay, so what is your activity for today? So this is the activity. It's to be fair, it's quite a simple activity. So what we've got is here I've picked 3 pictures, one of which is a suspension bridge, one is an arch bridge, and one is a cantilever bridge. I just want you to write underneath what you think each one is. Okay? And now on the second half of the sheet, you've got these 4 pictures. These are the 4 bridges that Brunel made. Okay? So what types of bridges are they? Okay? So one is a beam bridge, one is a cantilever bridge, one is a suspension bridge, and one is an arch bridge. Can you label them? And that really is it for the first activity. Okay, that's the boring bit out of the way. Now I want you to have a bit of fun as well today. So you may need to come back and do this a different day, but I do want some photos. So you can get mum or dad to email me some photos through, but I want you to make a cracker or a biscuit bridge. Okay, so you're going to need crackers or biscuits. You're going to need some icing sugar, which we'll use for cement, so that will keep all the biscuits and things together. Or you're going to need some cardboard or a hard surface to do it on. And you're going to need some good ideas. Okay, here's one that I had a go at making. So you can see I've got some bourbon biscuits, I've got some cookies, I had some other ones on the side, and then I've got this. I just randomly found stuff in the cupboard, but it's all stuck together. And I want you to see it. Can you have a go at making one? And if you've got like a toy car or something that you can try and balance on the top without it falling over, that would be amazing. So it's about having some fun. Okay, now if you don't have any biscuits and things in the house, do it a different day. It's absolutely fine. Or maybe find some other things to have a go at making a bridge with. Not Lego, because that's cheating. Okay, but find some other bits and pieces. And then next week, we're actually going to have a go at making a proper bridge. And that will fit in with our science as well. Okay, so have fun, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing what you create.